Hello, hello, all my beautiful people. Let's see. As I'm letting people in, who here has never been on a call before? Do we have any newbies here?
Yes, it's me.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Couple of newbies. Awesome.
First time
We're
for
gonna-
me to from
awesome.
Portugal.
Hey,
Portugal.
Nuno.
Hi.
Great to see you.
My first time too. Nice meeting you.
Awesome. Likewise. Man, lots of newbies here saying hi in the chat. Thank you. So I'm going to let a couple people in. People usually trickle in the first 5 minutes. I know. I don't even have makeup on. I don't know. I think it's the red, I think it's my red light back there that makes it look like I'm wearing makeup or something. I don't know what it'd be doing. You guys know me, roll out of bed. No, actually I've been up since 4. Actually working on something for you guys. So we've got a couple of new things that are coming to the $7 program. In addition to me rewriting that ROAS Accelerator playbook. And so I'm super excited because ever since I started building the $7 program, can you guys believe it's going to be 7 years? This year, 7 years old. We're doing a 7-year party in Dallas, Texas, on September 7th. And some of you guys will be getting an invite, especially you guys who've been with me for a while. I'm only doing it for about 50 people. We're going to have 7 VIPs, 50 people in attendance. So that's super exciting. But one of the things that I've never really gotten to do is like actually sit down and look at the curriculum and write the curriculum and then actually do the videos for the curriculum. I've never really been able to do that because it's been a ride the last 7 years. And so it's one of those things where I've really wanted to sit down. And so this morning I couldn't sleep. I was up at like 3 a.m. And so I got up and I was like, fuck it. I grabbed the ROAS Accelerator playbook. I grabbed all of the best trainings that I've done over the last year. And I'm like, okay, how can I make this program super simplified and make the ROAS Accelerated playbook actually follow the program so that as you're actually looking at the playbook, you're actually seeing the courses as it's laid out in the program, making it even easier, right? Because there's some people that really love watching videos. There's some people that really love reading the material. And then there's some of you guys who like listening to the material. So I'm adding the video component, the readable component, and then the audible component too. So you guys will be able to listen on the go and your podcast and everything too. So I'm really, really excited about that. So if you guys see some stuff that's wonky inside the program, just know I'm in there poking around and rewriting the ROAS Accelerated playbook. And I will make an official announcement so that you guys can get the updated playbook. And it's freaking long. It's like 80 pages. It's crazy. But the depth that I put into it, I think you guys are going to really appreciate it. Because you're not going to have to sit there and keep watching video after video and rewatching videos. You're going to be able to watch a video, then have the book to actually reference it. And then I also did some quick Loom videos of the setups and stuff so that you don't have to watch the workshop videos to see the setup. I have like all of the Loom videos and stuff like that. So that's one of the things that we're doing. So super excited about that. Also, you guys have probably noticed that we're having the call today, the first Thursday of the month versus the first Monday of the month. And so I'm trying to get us on a ritualistic schedule here in the $7 program. And so now you're just going to remember every other Thursday, we have a call at noon. Much easier to remember, right? So every first Thursday, every third Thursday, every first Thursday, we're going to do ecosystem deep dive. So you guys are going to know every single first Thursday call of the month, we're going to be doing what we're doing today because things change. And then every third Thursday, we're going to have our normal workshop. And so, by the way, I haven't announced it yet, but who is a huge fan of Rachel Miller? I'm putting my hand up because I love Rachel Miller. Rachel and I have known each other for the last several years. She's actually one of the first gurus that I ever met in person. And so we've known each other, but we've actually never collaborated on anything. And so we're collaborating on something. She's going to give you guys special access to some of her stuff by just being a member of the $7 program. This is not an upsell or anything like that. Like she's actually going to give you guys some access to some stuff. And so some of her stuff. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, Luann, I love Rachel is the freaking bomb. But if there's anyone here who has yet to put together an offer and a funnel, we're looking for 2 volunteers where Rachel and I will literally build your offer and your funnel from start to finish on the next Thursday call. So if you would like to be that person, post inside the $7 program, hashtag Laurel and Rachel build my offer. I will be looking for that inside the group, and just let me know like what you want to sell or what you want to offer. And we're going to choose 2 of you guys, and we're going to literally do it right here live for everyone to see. So you guys are going to see my thought process behind building an offer, Rachel's thought process behind building an offer. It's going to be fun. And so I keep telling you guys, I just want to make this $7 program like better and better and better. Like my goal is to make this $7 program the most valuable program to be in. I want it to have that high ticket feel, but with that low ticket price. So I'm hoping that over the last several years, all of these improvements are helping with that. Also, Lightning Laurel. How much are you guys loving Lightning Laurel? I keep seeing all the posts and everything, and I'm starting to think that maybe you guys love Lightning Laurel more than you love me at this point. But just so you guys know too, she gets trained every single week based on your feedback. So if there's anything that Lightning Laurel is falling short of, just let me know in the Ask Laurel thread. I will be training her. So every single week I go into the GPT and I say, "Hey, have any of my students asked you any questions that you don't know the answer to?" And she actually tells me, which is amazing. She'll be like, "Hey, one student asked me this," and I'll be like, "Okay, cool. Next time, say this." And so she's just getting smarter and smarter. Everyone already has access to Lightning Laurel. It's all laid out in the program. You just got to go in order. I know a lot of you guys tend to skip around a lot. If you just go in order, you'll find everything that you need. Another exciting thing, if you guys haven't picked up my brand new book, it was co-written by my mentor, Nick Peterson, R3 OAS. Highly recommend it. If you buy this thing, so go to r3oas.com, get the free audiobook. Okay. When you get the free audiobook, you're going to get access to obviously the audiobook and 52 weeks of workshops from Nick and I. So 1 workshop a week, you'll get delivered right into your inbox. So it's going to help you get through this entire curriculum. But here's the thing. If you buy the physical copy through that specific funnel, okay, through that funnel, if you bought it on Amazon, just screenshot holding the book and send it to me in Messenger, and I'll hook you up with this as well. On July 23rd or 24th, I forget. It's on the calendar for Momentum and Lean on Laurel. Nick and I will start doing live sessions to help our students implement R3 OAS from start to finish. But here's the deal. If you buy the physical book before July 16th, you get to come to that first class for free. So this is going to be a class with my Momentum members, with my Lean on Laurel students. Also, in the vein of that too, this is going to be one of the last chances that people are going to get to be in Momentum for $200 a month. Since Nick is coming in, for those of you guys who don't know, Nick Peterson has been my mentor over the last almost 6 years now. We've been together. And if you guys notice how calm and collected I always am through all of these marketing, and we'll talk a little bit more about this here in a little bit, through all of these marketing chaos, like chaotic moments in marketing and all of that, it's because of Nick and Dr. Jeff Spencer. You might not have heard the name Dr. Jeff Spencer before, but you know some of his clients like Tiger Woods and Lance Armstrong and Bono and The Edge from the band U2. Dr. Jeff Spencer will also be coming and helping out with Momentum students too, because it's not just about lead gen. It's about really improving your performance as a business owner, right? Because performance is almost 80% of everything that we do, right? And so if you buy the physical book before July 16th, you'll be invited to that first call. But also, it's one of the last chances to get into momentum at the $200 a month price. We are changing it to 2K for the year. So no more coming in and out of momentum. We want everyone on the same page. We want everyone working towards something together. And so we're going to start charging 2K. And by the way, after we get the onboarding set up for the 2K, the price is going up to 5K. I'm just going to let you guys know right now. So if you're not in momentum, now is the best time. We've got a couple of seats left. I cap it at 100 members. So we're super close. So if you haven't gotten into momentum, go to adswithlaurel.com/momentum. If you are in Lean on Laurel, you are already enrolled in momentum, because momentum is literally just the Zoom calls that we have in Lean on Laurel. So I know I went through a lot of announcements, but there's just a lot going on right now that people are like, why didn't you tell us? And I guess I always think I tell you guys, but sometimes I'm like, well, I told them once. And so people are like, nope, you got to tell them over and over again. So those are all of the announcements that I have for now, which reminds me, momentum students and Lean on Laurel students, right after this call, we have our deep dive on that other Zoom. If you guys want to be a part of that, because what we typically do is we do these workshops in the $7 program. And then in momentum and Lean on Laurel, we roll up our sleeves and we actually go and implement what I just taught in the workshop. So momentum, I think we have, I don't know, someone who's in momentum, we have what, 5, 10 calls a month. It's ridiculous, because I'm just like, I'm one of those people. Here's why there's so many calls and you don't have to attend them all. Here's why. I am one of those people that will not sit there and pre-record content. And so I'm like, I should just, when I'm recording my content, let people be in a room. They can give me an instant feedback loop. And so it just works for me. But you don't have to be there. You get all the replays and premium replays from all of my events and all of that fun stuff. And plus you get personalized help from me. So if you can't afford Lean on Laurel, which is $2,000 a month, hop into momentum right now at $200 a month and you get access to all the Lean on Laurel calls. That's the next best deal, right? So let's see, Laurel, as I am in LOL, would you recommend to watch the next Zoom? I recommend anyone, if you need help implementing anything, abso-freaking-lutely. I think that's it. You guys ready to rock and roll? We're going to talk about the ecosystem, because, whoo, man, everyone take a huge sigh, breath in right now, because have you guys been seeing all of the chaotic shit that's going on in the online marketing space right now? Like, it is so freaking crazy. Like, just last week, Facebook went and shut down a whole bunch of Facebook groups and everyone got in a tizzy, and now they were going to this place and everyone's going to this place. And then low ticket offers are now back in and high tickets out and all of this shit, right? Here's the deal. And I talk about it in R3OS. So I'm going to touch on it a little bit, because I want you guys to have a really great understanding of what's going on right now. The problem is that there's so many people who are treating the market right now like a technical problem, right? There's a lot of people who are throwing rocks and saying, well, challenge funnels aren't working anymore. Webinar funnels aren't working. This isn't working. High ticket's the thing to do. Low ticket's the thing to do. Everyone's like, oh, low ticket's making a comeback. Guys, none of that shit went away. And all of that shit still works. The problem is all of these businesses haven't adapted to the new state of the market. Market sophistication. People have already been bamboozled into buying all of these expensive programs that fell short on promises. Your audience is now trying to figure out whether or not you are legit, because they've already invested in something and it didn't work. And so right now, that's what's happening. And you have to understand that this is not a technical problem. A funnel will not get us out of this mess. We have to build trust with our audience. That is the only way. You're not going to out tactic what's going on right now, even though every guru wants you to believe that you have to ditch your low ticket and go high ticket, or ditch a challenge and do a webinar. Like right now, in the next 6 months, this is going to determine businesses who are going to be around and businesses who are going to silently disappear. And so right now you have to make the decision, Am I going to go all in and actually really learn this marketing stuff from a principal level, not just these short-lived tactics? Because it's exhausting if you try to chase tactics. Anyone ever wonder why I'm still around 7 years later selling the same thing, the same price? Notice, $7 program has been here for 7 years. Why am I able to make a low ticket offer work when everyone else is like, well, low ticket's too expensive. Ad costs have gone up. Where no one understands my numbers. I'm like, if you understood what I'm doing from a principal standpoint, of course I'm still here because I'm not relying on all of these like short-lived tactics. I've been doing the same strategy for 7 years, y'all. What y'all are going to learn today is something I've been doing for 7 years and building upon and building upon and building upon. So for anyone who is watching this for the first time, welcome. And I'm just going to tell you that you're going to be confused as shit. And that's just how it is. Like, you just kind of have to show up and just kind of iterate. One of the things I'm going to challenge you guys to do, if you are new, is just start going through the curriculum and throw yourself into it. Because the best way to learn is by actually doing it, right? So now you have to just do it and put in the reps, because my students who are the most successful, though, that is what they're doing. They're throwing themselves into it and just being like, fuck it. One of my students said, I just went ugly fast. And I was like, fuck, I love that. Like, meaning that she just dove right into it. And a lot of times they have a quick win. So hopefully you guys are here for the long haul. I'm here with you guys for the long haul. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do some fun stuff today. And we're going to start off with a very fun topic. Actually, I was having an interesting conversation this morning. I am one of the leaders in another mastermind in Onyx Singal's mastermind. And so I'm getting exposed to some new people who have never heard of me before. And one of the questions that I got this morning was, Laurel, I saw a video of you talking about how to scale to $10,000 a day. And he's like, I don't understand how that goes along with your strategy, because aren't you the girl that's known for the $5 ads? And so I was like, I love this question, because for years that was the misconception about my strategy. And here's where I figured out that I wasn't doing a really great job of explaining my strategy. And this is why I love doing live trainings. Everyone's always like, Laurel, you're super successful now. Why are you still doing trainings in the $7 program? Why do you still give students access to you for $7 a month? It's because of this. I get better at teaching this because I'm putting in the reps. And so what I found is that one of the biggest misconceptions about what I do with the ecosystem is people think that my ecosystem replaces a funnel. So the reason that I was talking about how to scale to $10,000 a day had everything to do with a funnel, which is an offer, right? So whenever we are running traffic, okay, here's how we're running traffic. People think that I don't run cold ads to a funnel. That's not true. I still run cold traffic to an offer. The misconception that people have is they think that this ecosystem replaces a funnel, when it's not replacing the funnel, it's built around the funnel. So when you're pushing an offer, you can scale this to $10,000 a day. It doesn't matter. You're still going to have the same leaks that any other funnel is going to have. And this doesn't matter whether this is an e-commerce funnel, whether this is a local brick and mortar website, right? A funnel is just a sales process. It doesn't matter whether you have a coaching business and running a webinar, whether you're selling a low ticket offer. You're sending people somewhere, right? And when you send people somewhere, you're building a physical list, right? You're getting the names and emails. Now, this could be a DM funnel. This could be LinkedIn direct outreach, but you're somehow sending traffic to some type of funnel and you're getting physical leads. That is campaign number 2. That is lead gen. What my ecosystem does is it plugs every single hole that is inside this funnel, right? If I run cold traffic here, let's just say that this is a webinar funnel, right? If I send 1,000 people here, only 20% of people are going to opt in. So that's a huge hole, right? If I'm sending 1,000 people, that's only 200 people moving forward. And if we're spending $3 a click, we're spending $3,000 to lose 800 people, right? Then once people opt in, only 40% of people are going to hit play on this. That's another huge hole right there. And then people are going to not finish the webinar. They're going to finish the webinar, but they're not going to move forward. So there's another hole here. So what my ecosystem is actually built to do is actually built to plug every single hole within this funnel. So you can see if someone is spending $10,000 a month on ads, you could just about imagine how much money they're bleeding at every single one of these holes, right? Wouldn't you guys agree? That's probably a lot of fucking money that's getting bled there, right? So what we do is we've got content that goes here to plug this hole, and then we've got content that's going to plug these holes. Everyone with me so far? Is this making sense? So what we want to do, let me get back to my pretty yellow. There we go. So what we want to do is we want to ensure that we have enough content to plug all of those holes, okay? So there's 3 parts to my ads ecosystem. There's the gateway Goodwill videos, there's the conveyor belt, and then there's conversation content. I always tell my students that conversations are the fastest path to cash. And boy, is it true. Okay. So if we are running ads to a funnel, what are we trying to do? Let's make this interactive. You guys, let's be chatty Cathys here. What is it? If you're trying to get people into a funnel, what are you trying to get them to do? Trying to get people to buy, right? If we're running ads to a funnel, exactly. Judith says buy and book a call. Absolutely. But here's the deal. Only 2 to 3% of people at any given time in your audience is ready to buy. So when you see rising ad costs and you see that your audience keeps puttering out, it's because most people are chasing these 2 to 3% constantly with conversion ads, which are the most expensive type of Facebook ads. That's why you have to scale to like $10,000 a day, right? If you're trying to scale your business. What my ecosystem does is it allows us to target the 97 to 98% of people who are still our ideal clients. They're just not in this 2 to 3% of people ready to buy now, but they're still our ideal clients, right? So what I've designed is an ecosystem that is built to do 2 things. One, it's built to plug each of these black holes of the funnel, but it is also built to nurture these 97 to 98% of people who are not ready to buy. They're sad face, right? You're trying to get them over here ready to buy, right? This is where the money is, right? But we got to get them along this journey. Back in the day, we used to hear the term, well, it takes 7 exposures before someone decides to buy from you. It is no longer 7 exposures. As a matter of fact, according to Wicked Reporting, it's more like 62 to 67 days. And most people don't have 62 to 67 days worth of nurture. If you use my strategy, you will have 24/7, 365 days of nurture. If you follow exactly what I'm going to show you guys and understand this at a deep level. Because here's the thing. If people are going to this funnel, we're going to drop them on the conveyor belt. Okay? The other way to get them on the conveyor belt is to get them to watch video content. So we're going to be targeting people, this 2 to 3% of people with a funnel, but you might not need to put a funnel, and we'll put a pin in that. Because here's the thing, the ecosystem itself can act as a funnel, and here's why. let's say that we're targeting Russell Brunson, right? Let's just say that we're targeting Russell Brunson, and this circle represents all of Russell Brunson's audience. The 2 to 3% of people make up a very small part of that, right? And so think about this. When you're running ads to a funnel, you constantly have to test new audiences. You constantly have to test new content, right? Because your ad costs keep going up, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to target the wider net with cheaper ads. Video view campaigns are much cheaper than conversion campaigns. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a ton of content, because here's the thing. People are only using 1 or 2 ads to get to these 2 to 3% of people. And they assume that because Russell has 2 million people, that these 2 ads are going to reach 2 million people. That is not true. The way that the algorithm feeds content to you guys is based upon a ping of the content. Okay. So the algorithm is looking at the type of content that you're looking at. If you aren't looking at this type of content, you're not going to get served up these ads, even though you fit the description of this audience. And so that's why people are constantly complaining about rising ad costs, is because they're running a limited amount of ads. What we need to do in order to exploit this entire audience is create a shit ton of content. It should more or less look like this. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to exploit this entire pocket of people. Does that make sense? With the cheapest form of advertising, which is awesome. So now we've got the 97 to 98% of people, right? So these right here, we want to solve very specific problems. Okay. Every one of us should know who our ideal audience is, because here's the thing. If we take a look at every single person that we could target, period, right? There's always going to be the ceiling clients and the floor clients. And I'll explain this exactly what this means. Your ceiling clients, think about your ideal clients. Like if I have someone who's already spending tens and thousands of dollars in traffic a month and I deploy this ecosystem, they're going to make a shit ton of money super fast. So I love when people come into Lean on Laurel and they are already running a direct response funnel. I sing and dance all over my office when I get those clients, because it is so much fun, because I will see them make an additional 6 figures very fast. It's awesome. Those are my ceiling clients. Now, the misconception that people have is they think that your floor clients are going to be your worst clients. That's not true. Your floor clients are just going to be harder to get results for. So for example, if I get someone who's already running a direct response funnel and getting 2x ROAS, it's easy. I could do this in my sleep. But my floor clients, if they just have a validated offer and they've sold it a couple of times and they don't have a funnel and they don't have all of this tested content, it's going to take me a lot longer to get them results. Not necessarily because they're bad clients or anything. They're just at a different level than my ceiling. And so don't think that your floor clients are going to be your worst clients. As a matter of fact, I say this all the time. My floor clients are honestly my favorite clients because they're the most satisfying to actually get results for. Very satisfying. You know, I tell the story of my client Scott. I tell the story of Victor. I tell all of my favorite clients started as my floor clients and are now some of my best clients because they were able to quit their jobs and run the business on their terms. That is so satisfying for me. It is not so satisfying to help someone make an extra $1 million who's already making millions of dollars, but it's still fun because it's easy. It's easy money. So that's why those are my ceiling clients. But my floor clients, I have to work a little bit harder. So why am I explaining this? Well, this spot right here is the sweet spot when it comes to creating content. I'm going to use Scott. I think I saw Scott here hop on here. Scott, he just wants to run a consulting business. He used to work for Seth Godin, and he's like, you know what? I'm happy babysitting my grandkid, and I'm happy making $10,000-$11,000 a month. He's probably making more than that by now. But when he came to me, he's like, Laurel, if I could just make 10, 11 grand, I'm good. Scott can live here just making content for his ceiling clients because he doesn't need to make and scale to a shit ton of money. You get what I'm saying? But the more money that you want to make, the more you scale, you have to go down. And when you go down, you have to go broad, right? And so the content sweet spot is actually here. But each of these people are going to have a very specific problem to solve. If I am looking at people who are already getting 2 to 3x return on ad spend, they're going to have a different problem than someone who needs to build a funnel from scratch. Make sense? So what I want to do is I want to make content for all of these people. And so when I'm creating my content, I'm solving these problems here with power content. Now, to make it easy, this is how I always tell people to start off. Start with your ceiling clients, right? Solve 3 very specific problems for your ceiling clients, right? Yep, look, Scott just in the I knew you were here, Scott. He said listening in while I'm napping with Jasper. Yep, Scott started working with me when Jasper was just born. I watched Jasper from a newborn and now he's running around. Jasper can probably run ads better than me at this point. He's been on every one of my calls for the last 4 years. I always joke about Scott. I'm like, Scott, when are you sending Jasper my way? But what we want to do is we want to solve a very specific problem. So let's say I am solving someone who is getting 2 to 3 times their return on ad spend. They might not be closing 20% of their sales calls. They might not be getting people to watch their webinar. They might not be getting enough people to opt in. Very specific problems. Notice I'm not going broad in solving these problems. These problems are something that I can solve within one video. I'm not going to tell someone, oh, I'm going to get your return on ad spend up to 10x in one video, because there's a series of problems that need to be solved. Those series of problems is what these power content videos need to be. Okay. So now we're running cold traffic to not only our funnel, but we're also going to run them to these Goodwill videos. In this program, I call them power content. Okay. Now, once people watch 25% or more of these videos, they also get put on the conveyor belt. But what's really important, guys, and I want you guys to listen here, listen very closely. You need to make sure that those videos are only going to attract this level of people and nothing below the floor. Like if someone doesn't have an offer to sell, I don't want to market to them. Right? So Laura says problems, symptoms, or bad strategies. How do you define problem? I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. I don't have enough. That's not a clear question. But if you rephrase it, I'll be happy to answer that. So what we have here are 3 very specific problems. Now, Google just released a huge study. Someone mentioned it a while ago in the chat, that it takes 7 hours of consuming content across 11 different touch points and 4 different platforms in order for someone to decide to buy. And this doesn't matter whether it's a high ticket or low ticket. People want to consume your content. And so if you're wondering why your funnel isn't working the way that it used to, it's because people aren't consuming enough of your content. They don't want to. They don't know if it's worth their time because so many webinars have been promoted as value and they were complete pitch fests, right? How many of you guys will sit there and watch a webinar? I used to back in the day. I used to like sit there and watch 2 or 3 webinars a day. Now I'm like, fuck no, because I know what it is. The market is sophisticated. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to ensure that we're putting enough content in front of everyone. But here's the thing, guys. Instead of recreating new content, what we're going to do is we're going to take these same 3 videos that are probably going to have more of an actionable lens, right? How to close 20% more sales calls, how to get more people to watch your webinar, how to get more opt-ins. But people consume information in 4 different ways. Once I say this, you're going to catch this. Analytical, aspirational, anthropological, and actionable. And you're probably leaning in creating 1 or 2 types of those lenses. When I first learned about the 4 lenses of content, I was like, holy shit, I do a lot of actionable content, how-to content, and I do a lot of analytical. I love the numbers. I wasn't telling stories and I wasn't talking about human behavior. If you've been watching me on my personal profile lately, I've been doing a lot of anthropological type posts talking about how crazy everyone's being right now and trying to solve an adaptive problem using technical tactics and why it doesn't work. That's an example of anthropological. Right now, my content is has been anthropological lately. That's just because I'm practicing my anthropological. I've noticed that once I started doing more anthropological content, I got higher quality leads coming in, and that's amazing. So now we know that people consume content in 4 different ways. So all we're going to do is we're going to take these same 3 videos and we're going to do an aspirational. So instead of here's how to close 20% more sales calls, I can tell the story of Scott, how he literally went from 8% close to 20% sales calls by doing this one exercise that I taught him, right? It's very aspirational. Then I'll do another video and I'll pull those numbers straight out of that story from Scott and I will just talk about the numbers. Here's what happens when you place this one ad here and change this ad here. This is the numbers in the results. And then I might do another video talking about how most people, no matter how good they are at sales, will never get a client. And it's all psychological, right? So now instead of having one piece of content on that topic, I've got 4 because I've told it through a different lens. So now instead of 3 pieces of power content, I now have 12, right? 3 times 4. I'm using the same topics. I'm not recreating anything. I'm just telling the same topic through a different lens. If you've done the content Bible exercise inside the program, you should have 15 to 20 problem solving scripts that will now multiply that by 4. Now you probably have like 60, right? I'll do you one better, right? People don't only watch videos, they also read posts. They also listen to podcasts. Here's my attempt of drawing a podcast mic here. So now, instead of having 60 pieces of content, 60 times 3, we've got 180 pieces of content by the time we've ran them through all of the lenses. So then we run them through, I'm going to write some posts. I'm going to do podcast episodes. Now, instead of just 3, we've got a shit ton of content. And so now we're able to move people along the conveyor belt. They're watching the stories. They're reading the numbers. They're listening to the behavioral, psychological things that make people tick. But then something happens. Right before they're ready to buy, they just stop. And here's the thing that you guys have to remember, that so many people in your audience are carrying a lot of baggage. And it's not your fault. It's the market's fault because gurus have sold so many people into all of these programs that under-delivered. And so people are carrying a lot of baggage. And so right before they buy, they're asking themselves, man, I already spent money on a fitness program. Why is this time going to be different? If you can answer that one question, why will this time be different? In every single piece of content you do, you will win by default. You will win. I promise you, guaranteed. But what is one of the best ways that we can get people over the fence? How can we prove that this time will be different? Right? And that is by having a what? A conversation. And so right here in campaign number 4 and campaign number 5, we're going to give people 2 ways to have a conversation. One's going to be more of a frictionless way. And I say frictionless because it is through a messenger conversation, right? People click or comment on your content and you take them right to messenger. It's instant. But then there's also a more friction way for a higher quality and getting people onto a call or a Zoom, right? There's friction because now they have to set time in their calendar, right? So one of the best ways to get people to realize why will this time be different is having a conversation. But yes, you guys are nailing it in the chat right now. We also, if we can answer it in our content, that's even better. Because here's the thing. I hardly have to have messenger conversations at all. My messenger conversations pretty much go, hey, Laurel, you don't know me, but I've been following you for a while. Can I have the link to join Lean on Laurel? That's pretty much how every single one of my conversations go now. Why? because I've been doing this for the last 7 years. People know why my program is different because I'm showing it every single day. I started off by saying, here's the common misconception about my strategy. But I talk about it all the time, and I tell stories, and I run the numbers, and I talk about human behavior. So right here, we've got 2 more campaigns, right? These are the conversation campaigns. We've got the fast funnel, which is the DM funnel. And then we've got the green light sequence right here that usually typically goes to straight to an application. But if you're running a low ticket offer, the green light sequence could also go straight to your low ticket offer. Like for me personally, I use the green light sequence for my $7 program. My entire ecosystem is built to get people into the $7 program. But for most of my clients, they use the green light sequence to book a call. But if you have a low ticket offer, e-commerce product, brick and mortar, it might be straight to product, and that's fine. But here's the thing, there's a special kind of content for that too. What are the two main reasons why people won't buy? Let's see, there's 2. I know there's some Rockstar students here who've heard me present this several times over the last several weeks. What are the two main reasons that people won't buy? What do they have? Come on, y'all. Y'all know the answer to this. Yep. Objections. And what is one of the other reasons they won't buy? Is because they haven't adopted our mechanism. So the green light sequence gets over these 2 humps. There's 4 objections: time, money, effort, and sacrifice. What do I have to give up? How hard will this be? How much money will this take? How much time will this take, right? So guess what you do? You take all of those video topics that we've already done, and now we have even more angles to do. We've got 5 adoption decisions: complexity, compatibility. When I first started this call, I was proven compatibility because most people don't think that my ecosystem works because they're running a funnel. So one of the first things that I said was, this is the main misconception about my ecosystem. People think it replaces a funnel, but it's built around it. I was handling this adoption decision. Compatibility. It is compatible with a funnel. We've got 3, trial ability. We've got 4, relative advantage. Sorry, my handwriting sucks. My parents forced me right-handed as a child. I guess it's the left hand. I don't know the reasoning behind that, but the nuns used to smack me. And then we've got observability. Can I see it? So now we've got even more lenses. We got a shit ton of content, don't we? There's 9 different angles here, 4 different angles across the conveyor belt, right? So we have a lot of content. Even if you only do these 3 problems here, you have more than enough content to do the conveyor belt for a year. Even if you don't go past those 3 problems. Like, how many of you guys notice that I do the same content over and over again? I talk about the same 3 things all the time. I just tell different stories. I run different numbers. I talk about you guys behaving in wacky ways, right? That's what I do. But that's the ecosystem. We're just putting content in front of people at the right time and bringing them along. Does that make sense? I'm going to ask you guys a question. At the end of the day, do you really need a funnel if you're running the ecosystem? No. So this is why some people can run my strategy, because the ecosystem, guys, those are just $5 ads. The funnels are the expensive ads, right? Conversion ads. But I've got students who run just the ecosystem for $500 a month, and they make 10, 11, 15,000 a month just in their business. A lot of fitness coaches, That's their jam. A lot of fitness coaches, they're just running power content conveyor belt. Most of you guys in the room would be fine with just power content and a conveyor belt, and that's it. Because the conveyor belt has all of those pieces of content in it. Like you can put a fast funnel inside the conveyor belt. Does it make sense? Who's here that's new? Did that make sense? I know it's probably like holy shit. Daniel, did that make sense? I saw you kind of bobbing your head. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad. Does anyone let's unmute yourself and let's tackle some questions. I've got about 13 minutes before we get on the other Zoom with Momentum members. I love it. The L is because it surrounds the sales process. Yeah. Whenever I make my whenever I speak at events, I always make a big L. I was like, y'all remember my ecosystem because it forms an L for Laurel around your funnel. Awesome. Welcome, Kimberly. Glad to have you. Everyone's like, whoo, that was a lot, Laurel. Hopefully, though, everyone's got an easier sense of, okay, ads don't have to be hard. It was funny, whenever I was doing this event in Dallas, there were all of these bro marketers that were ahead of me, and they were talking about how much they spend in ads and all of this stuff, and the room was just kind of like, fuck. And then I got on stage and I was like, everything that they said is good, but I'm going to teach you guys how to do it much cheaper. You guys okay with that? And the whole room I just felt this like big sigh of relief. I was like, good. I was like, because it's the end of the day. I'm last on stage. We're going to pretend like we all had 10 shots of tequila and we're going to do this. And then I went right into the presentation that I just did for you guys. And everyone was like, that's the easiest presentation I've seen on ads. And I'm like, ads don't have to be hard. I was like, all of these people want y'all to think ads are hard. Why? So that you can pay them to do it for you. But honestly, most of you guys who are sitting in this room should be doing your own ads. Awesome. Everyone's like, questions answered. Then that means I have done this a long time to where like now I've finally gotten it pretty close. Laura, go ahead. Where's Laura? I saw she said she had a question. How many ads depends on you, right? Yeah, you just do exactly what I told you, right? You've got three, there's the ecosystem, right? The ads are they're unlimited, right? There's no set amount of ads. It's just content. So one of the things that I do want you guys to leave with is stop looking at organic versus ads. It's both. Because here's the thing, organic is just free advertising and paid ads are just organic content with money on it. You need to put money on all your content. Otherwise, it's not going to be seen. Yep. So if you're not sure where to start, just start. That's the thing. Just start. That's all you got to do is just start. Doesn't matter, guys, doesn't matter the order. Doesn't matter whether you put analytical videos here, and it doesn't matter. Just do the content. Like I always tell my students, if they just every single day do one piece of content that solves one person's problem, throw it in the ads manager, let it run, that's good enough. It doesn't have to be all of this complicated. I'm going to layer my lookalikes and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do, guys, most of you guys in the room could probably push better buttons than I do. A good piece of content is going to find its way to the right person if it's good enough. But yeah, like just go through the order of the program. Like if you don't know where to start, just literally go through the program in order. You'll get it done. Most of my students who come into the program, they get it up and running within 7 days, the entire ecosystem. Just start. Have you guys seen Lightning Laurel? Just go to Lightning Laurel and say, hey, build me my ecosystem ads. And guess what she'll do? She'll tell you exactly what to do. She pretty good. She better than me. Khan.
So my question was like, I have a VSL funnel, but I don't run ads into it right now. Okay. So my question is like, people who watch my my power content, should I retarget them with the VSL or not? So
you tell me, what have you learned? What have you learned today? Tell me what you would do, what you should do. And
no, I mean,
I'm just pop quizzing you right now, just
oh
to
yeah,
see
no, I
how.
mean, what I see is like you have the physical list with people. We send them directly to the VSL,
Mhm.
and then those who see the power content, and then we retarget them with the different pieces. So this, like, I get it, but I was thinking like if we catch people's attention with power content, um, like would it be appropriate to retarget them with the VSL so they can watch it or not?
What do you think? I want to know your thought process because I want to see how you're receiving this information.
So I'm thinking in both ways. One is targeting people directly to VSL will lead to more specific people, I think, and retarget getting people who watch the content would also expose them to the next part of my funnel. So I think both can work, but I wanted to know what you do, what works best with your
I don't even
experience.
fucking use a VSL. Have you ever seen me do a VSL for
No,
myself?
no, no.
But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what I do. It matters what you do, right?
Sure.
Because what's the number one rule is your data. It trumps anything
Yeah.
or anyone's opinion. I'll tell you what some of my clients do, right? Because I think that's the question that you probably want to ask versus what would I do. So here's what some of my clients do, right? Well, some people will run cold traffic straight to the VSL. Good. That's what I showed you guys, right? That cold traffic goes to the funnel. But I do have some clients, like Victor is one of them. I wish, is Victor here? I don't think Victor's here. So one of the things that Victor does is he runs the fast funnel because he loves the volume. He's got a lot of his clients have call setters. What they do with the VSL is they use the VSL to confirm the call. So when they book the call, they text them and say, hey, we need you to watch this video before the call. If you cannot confirm that you've watched this video, we're going to cancel the call.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So I wasn't picking on him. I wanted to see his thought process, right? Because here's the thing, guys. Everything works. Everything really works. Like you just have to kind of figure out what works for you. And the last thing that I want to do here in this program, because it's dangerous, is to limit you guys. Like I will never sit there and tell someone that will not work unless the data tells me that it won't work, right? Like if someone comes to me with unrealistic expectations, with budget and goals, I'm like, okay, that won't work. But I'm never going to sit here and be like, y'all don't do that because that won't work. I have a girl right now that came in to lean on Laurel and she wanted to just launch a low ticket offer. And I was like, holy shit, I don't think this, I ran the numbers and she was like, I think I'm going to be good with this. And I was like, in your gut, if you think that you're going to be good with this, just so you know, this is worst case scenario, best case scenario. She get an 18x ROAS, front end, low ticket, $48 offer. So what would I like? That would have been dangerous of me to say, no, that will never work, right? Because until data tells me otherwise, like she had the budget to make it work. I was like, as long as you can light this money on fire, it worked. It was awesome. I love when that happens. Jeffrey, great to see you.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can. It's a little faint, but I can hear you.
Great. So we've been in business almost 20 years now online. I think we started around 07, 08, and got an email list. We've got thousands of customers, and we have a really good back end. Like we have a medium ticket 324 offer that gets people started in our world, and we just crush it with a 30-day boot camp. And
Ooh, okay.
from that boot camp, people upsell to the certification and they upsell to mastery, and then it all works out really well. So our back end is like, it's almost like we're doing all this conveyor belt stuff, but after we got an email and we actually got some kind of enrollment. And so I'm trying to just put it on the outside, it seems, at this point, to just expand.
Well, don't stop doing what you're already doing. But yeah, think about if it works on the inside, how well it's going to compound on the outside.
So the big question mark for me at this point is, when I look at Lightning Laurel and what she seems to say about like where to start in the 5 campaigns is, hey, just flip it and start with 5 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
my perspective is
It
that
doesn't matter, Jeffrey. Why does it matter whether you start with 1 or 5? Because you're going to be doing them simultaneously anyway. Are you just maybe Jeffrey might be overcomplicating it a little bit? Where'd you go?
I think my biggest limitation is just the time to implement each campaign, and then we actually
Are you used to doing ads?
Sure. We've run a lot of ads on all the platforms.
So what do you think's going to take the time? Like I literally laid out. Did y'all see my AI video I did right before this call? I had a client come in to Lean on Laurel literally today, this morning. I uploaded his content Bible and the Zoom onboarding call that I did with him. And within 5 minutes had his entire profit projection and his entire 30 days of content done within 5 minutes, and was just like, here you go do this. And then it takes the longest it takes is doing the videos. But Jeffrey, you just can do your 3 power content videos, do a couple of conveyor belt, do your green light sequence, go do it, throw it in the ads manager, so just let it go.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like it doesn't take as much time as people think.
I mean, making the videos is not really that much of a problem. We make hundreds of videos.
Well, then there you go. Why are you what's the constraint?
The other constraint now that we're talking constraints, the other constraint is that we shut down all our trainings for the last 18 months. And it's because of everything that you've been talking about. We were banned on Facebook 7 years ago, and then it was just a slow grind to death, basically. So
what's the constraint? You're telling me a lot of information, but I'm trying to figure out what's relevant and what's not.
Well, we're not cash flowing at all right now. I'm living off of one-on-one clients, and it's
you said on your back end your ecosystem is well oiled. Is it not well oiled?
No, it's pretty well oiled, but we shut it down 18 months ago because the front end was dead.
So your constraint is front end leads, new leads.
At this time, because we literally just got a new Facebook ad account up in the last 12 months because we were banned 7 years ago. We were doing everything on all the other platforms, which was way more expensive.
So get the ecosystem up. Why are you waiting? I would get that up as fast as possible.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And what I love about my ecosystem is it's really great for ads like that, for people who are in high risk like situations or had ad accounts. Say like right now, like I have a client, like he got his Facebook ad account shut down as soon as he joined Lean on Laurel. I was like, well, that was fun. And we were able to open up a new ad account for him. And the ecosystem is the safest way to actually get ads up and season an ad account before you start sending it to offers, right? Like when people come with me with crypto offers, I'm like, okay, we're going to run power content for about 30 days before we're going to launch any crypto offers that go straight to a link. And that's pretty much what I do with high risk like weight loss and all of that. If it's a new ad account, I'm running just conveyor belt content, power content, conveyor belt for 30 days before even launching a funnel.
Yeah, we've already seasoned for like over 6 months with video views.
That's awesome.
But the answer I'm hearing so far is just
do it.
Whatever we normally do to get leads using Facebook as our current front end, we should start with that just because it's the fastest path that we understand. And then from there, we can branch out into things that you're teaching that we're not as familiar with. Is that a fair way to?
I would get my ecosystem up before you run any lead ads. My ecosystem, I guarantee you, is easier to set up than a funnel.
And so when you say ecosystem, because I've watched your ecosystem videos, and again, it's like 5 campaigns. Just set up all 5 all at once, or should I?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like y'all can go in whatever order y'all want. It does not matter.
All right, fair enough. Good.
No, that's good. I just was hammering it home because guys, it really honestly doesn't matter. Like y'all just need to get it up and running, because think about it. Campaign number 2 is your funnel that you're already doing. So that's already minus 1 campaign. If anyone wants to get up anything, power content and the conveyor belt are the 2 most important parts of my ecosystem, because a lot of the stuff on the conveyor belt will become the green light sequence. A lot of stuff on the conveyor belt will become the fast funnel content. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm like, just get up the power content in the conveyor belt. Conveyor belt's easy to get up because it's just one piece of content a day and you're just boosting it. Or if you're loading it up on YouTube, just putting it in there for $1 a day.
All right, that helps a lot. So my understanding is if I'm doing power content and conveyor belt, all the other stuff will naturally evolve from those pieces of content. They can be repurposed.
100%. Yeah.
All right, that helps a lot. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, great. Great talking it out. So I am going to go. We're a couple of minutes out, going to Momentum, Zoom link. Everyone, that was a great way, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. That was a great way to end this call. That was great talking. If you guys have any questions at all, ask Lightning Laurel, put it in the Ask Laurel thread. And love all you guys. I will see you guys on the next call.